The best negotiations are not wars or battles. They're where both parties are satisfied and basically feel like they won. And that's a quote I got from a video a long time ago. And ever since I saw that, I've been using it in my negotiations. Also, that's what today's video will be on: negotiation and the art of creating steals. And I say creating steals because items and shoes that you're gonna buy will never be priced at a price where you can make a lot of money on. You have to, most of the times, talk the seller down to where you can make a decent amount of profit. So essentially, you are creating a steal. So here's how I personally negotiate and some tips and tricks I have to allow you to buy the shoes or the item from a person for much less than they actually want to sell it for. First, let's go over some things to never do in a negotiation. And this is coming from someone who's done well over 1,000 negotiations on both the buying and the selling side. The first thing to never do is start off with what is your lowest price, because this will give you one out of two outcomes. First, the buyer's not going to tell you the lowest price, or the second one, the seller's going to get annoyed and just not really want to even sell to you anymore just because that's an annoying ass question. The second thing to never do is to insult the person you are talking to, because think of a negotiation like a conversation. You know, you never really want to start off on a negative foot or bring a negative light into this conversation. And some ways that you can make it negative is say like, oh, you're taxing, this shoe isn't worth this much. Or, oh, are you sure these are real? These are just some things that will automatically turn off the other person and just make them not want to fuck with you. So those are two things to just not do. And if you currently negotiate like that, that's probably a reason you are not seeing a lot of success in your negotiations. Now you know what not to do. Here is how I like to negotiate sneakers and essentially create steals. And I like to break my negotiations down into 5 steps. The first words, gathering information, the first offer, the second offer, and then the sale, the meetup, or whatever, the final transaction. So let's break down each of these 5 steps and go into really how you can create steals. Your first words set the stage for the negotiation. Like I said earlier, if you start off with your first words being what's your lowest, you will never get what you want. If it's online, the first thing you should say is, hey, is this still for sale? This starts the conversation and it opens it up for the next steps. And if it's an in-person negotiation, like at an event, just give them conversation. Say like, hey, how's the event going? Have you made money today? Etc. Just have a genuine conversation. Just keep in mind, your first words set the stage for the negotiation. Your first impression with anybody sets the stage for the rest of your relationship. So if you want to be successful in negotiations, your first few words, your first interaction, your first look will determine how successful you are. It really goes deeper than just negotiations. That's in life. Your first impression sets your stage for every single relationship in your life. The second step is to gather information on the shoes. And what this allows you to do is know the true value and truly how much you can even pay to make a profit on the shoes. Some information I like to get is, do they have the box? Do they have the original laces? Sometimes I like to ask for more pictures or a specific side of the shoe just to truly know what that shoe is worth and how much I can pay. And the other benefit of this is the person thinks you're more interested. They're like, oh, he's asking all these questions. He must really want to buy these shoes. So in turn, they really want to sell to you, because I like to sell to people who are really invested into buying from me. So it's just a reciprocated process. Also, you want to know the true value of these sneakers before you even send the offer. Because if you send say you send an offer for $200, before you learn any information. Then you learn the shoe has no box. There's scuffs all over the side. You're gonna have to go down on your offer. You're gonna have to go, oh, no, I can't do 200, I could do 150. This will turn off the person you are talking to. This will turn off the other party of the negotiation. Just because if you say an offer, you have to stick to it. Unless, like I said earlier, that first impression, all future relationships with this person will always be like, oh, he said 300, but he's probably gonna say 250 because there's a fucking issue. So they don't even want to do business with you. So gather information and always stick with that first offer. The third step, and really the fun part, is your first offer. And I say first offer for a reason, because you never want to say how much you truly want to pay right off the bat. Instead, think of a price you want to say. Like, say for example, I want to pay $200 for this shoe. I'm gonna offer 180 on that first one. And it depends on the shoe value or whatnot, but I tend to say $20 or $30 under what I truly want to pay on that first offer. And after you give this first offer, they will either say, nah, I can't do that. They'll accept the offer, or the third and most common way is they will send a price back. And the funniest thing I realized was doing this, these 3 steps will get you the same result as you asking what's your lowest. And the only difference is now you have a relationship built up. Now you can talk to them more, and the best benefit is now they will be able to go lower than their lowest price. And that's really how you create steals. And we're not even on to the 5th or 4th step yet. So pay attention. 4th step is your second offer. Here is where you will say what you actually want to pay for these sneakers. And either they will accept it or they'll send you another price. And if they don't accept it, just go up by $10 or something, and just really get creative. And the reason these multiple offers work is because, remember at the beginning of this video, I said negotiations are not wars, they're not battles. They're where both parties feel like they won. The easiest way to make someone feel like they won in a negotiation is if they take you from one price to a different price. Like if you're buying from someone, your first offer is 150 and then they take you to 500. They feel like they won exponentially. And really you want to deliver and feed them that feeling for you to get and be able to create steals all the time. The last part of the negotiation is the sale, the purchase, the meetup. And that's pretty self-explanatory, so I say, but that's where you give the value. That's where you trade your money for the shoe. And one thing I have to say, before you give your money to someone, make sure it is what you want to buy. Make sure it is what you want to invest your money in, and have in mind what you will sell it for before you even buy it. Last in this video is the real game. This is for y'all who stuck to the end, who actually want to learn a lot. And these are 2 tactics that have worked the best for me, and have honestly, I've used them in all of my negotiations and have made me a lot of money. First off, with used sneakers, point out the flaws. If they have a scuff, say, oh, there's a little scuff right here, man. These aren't as clean as I thought they were. What this does is it gives the seller or the buyer a reason why you are giving this offer. Gives them the reason why you are pricing them at this point. And people always want to know why. Because what a why does is it gives context. It gives them depth to why this shoe is worth 500. Gives them depth to why you just lowballed them and offered them $100 for a shoe they thought was worth 200, but actually it's not worth 200 because of this flaw. The last secret I have for y'all has never failed for me. Never in negotiation, never in life, never in networking. And that is, be nice. Don't be rude. Don't be a dickhead. Be genuinely nice and have conversations and be interested in people. Because when you are rude, you get that energy back. When you are rude to people, they are rude back to you. When you are nice to people, they are nice back to you. Especially in negotiation, where the nicer you are, the more money you make. The ruder you are, it is correlated perfectly with how much money you won't make.